So what was the first 3 to 5 moves you made from that point?
Well, they were pretty big.
Yeah.
And just to give you a little backstory on the business, I'm a vendor for photographers now. We do all their post-production needs, retouching, extractions, graphic design, blah, blah, blah. We're global. We work with thousands of photographers. Our offices are based in Mumbai, India. Prior to 2021, we outsourced to a third party. We just paid them a bill for their service. They contracted all the people, the admin, whatever. We fired them. We gave them a 90-day notice. Hired our own team, brought in our own production manager, brought in our own customer service people, and just started training them. But we had the great fortune to hire one of the best production managers in Mumbai, India. Man's amazing. Man is amazing. I can't speak. I'm the dumbest guy in the group. I just want to be real with you. I am literally the dumbest guy in our group. Customer service manager had worked with me in the past and really had a high respect for working with me. I brought him along. I paid him a very good wage, way more than he should have been making, and said, "You're going to manage this department. You're going to figure it out, and I'm going to help you." Now he's got 5 people under him running that department.
Mm-hmm.
And they do 100 times better job than I do, and they're in India. And our customers love them.
I was wondering what the connection was there because you sent me that tattoo shop.
Yeah,
that was
it's
based
right
in India.
It's right down from our offices. So our offices are in Mumbai, Aliens Tattoo Shop, which they have several throughout India. But that particular one is, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile down the street.
Yeah.
It's a cool shop.
It looked awesome. I mean, the content looked good.
It's funny over there because it's intense. Mumbai is 22 million people. It's half the size of New York City. So you have to think about that. And there is a trash problem outside, heavily. So if you're not used to seeing stuff like that, it can just be very intense. The people, the trash. But what I've learned is they care about what's in their space. Their cars, their homes. They're beautiful. Their restaurants. They're some of the most badass designs I've ever seen. It's just, yeah, it's beautiful, but that tattoo shop is just, it's badass.
Yeah,
It's not something you would expect to see over in India, right?
Right, yeah.
No, it's state of the art. It's modern.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, man, how did you even make those connections?
Well, interesting enough, when I connected with my partner 14 years ago and we outsourced to this third party, he was working there. And many of the people that work for us now were working there. But through the years, they just let him go, firing him, letting him go. His company was known more for the few times I was over there working with them under that contract, it felt like a very hierarchy, looked down upon regime or company, I should say. And when we had the chance and we were damn near shutting down due to COVID, my partner said, "Hey, man, let's do this. What do you think? You want to do it?" I'm like, "I want to do it." I said, "There's so many good people that we had in the past that if they actually just got to come and work for people that wanted to see them grow and prosper and speak their mind and come with ideas, things they weren't allowed to do, let's make it happen." And it's just, it literally has. And we've got 180 people working there now.
Man, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, and it's literally, I didn't do anything. I had the vision. He had the vision. People bought into it. Just like I talked about in the beginning. It's just rinse and repeat. And it's not that I'm trying to say this in some non-emotional, disconnected way, because it's not like that. It's very emotional. It's very connective. But it works. You just got to follow the process. And again, got to have the grit. Had to let go of a company that we had been with 9 years. They weren't fucking happy at all. They were shitty. They made our lives hell. They held all of our data. They held so much that we had to get back, pull back, it was work, but everybody chipped in and everybody made it happen. And here we are. And it's a beautiful thing. I don't know what happens on our production team. I couldn't tell you. I know the processes we've put in place because we've put them in place together. But to talk about what the extraction team's doing right now, or the design team, or the retouching team, no. Because the production manager has got that. That's his. And he's put the people in place. And we trust him and he trusts us.
Do you feel like you have to be self-employed for a period of a time before you can start stepping into that?
Yeah, I don't know too many people that have just stepped into straight entrepreneurship. I mean, there's probably been some people that have pitched some businesses and gotten enough seed money that, hey, here's your instantaneous admin, human resource, production, whatever you need. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. I mean, Amazon starts in a garage.
I've heard
Apple starts in a garage.
Right.
Most of these, Uber, all these businesses that are these monsters, they all went through the shit we went through. They all went through self-employment. Because that's where the passion is. That's where your first spark of doing something for yourself that actually makes you feel proud to say I did that and made money off of it and I can pay my bills. I think you need that. I think there's levels to it. But your end goal should be, okay, because with photography, I wasn't going to make it as an entrepreneur. I wasn't going to put that in place. But I knew this business, eventually we could. And that's why I jumped. Like, I shut down both my studios when they were both growing. People flipped out. Like, what's going on? Because we were killing it. But I knew that wasn't the end. And I was so burnt out on taking pictures. And my hands hurt, and my back hurt, and my elbows hurt. And I was like, the only way I make money right now is with a camera in my hand. It's the only way I make it. And I can't do that.
I feel like I'm at with the shop at the very beginning journey, because right now the shop has no one working for it. They're all subcontractors, or they have their own business and they just operate in the studio. But a big conversation is finding those first couple people to help, and then trying to figure out, okay, how do we make that happen on a budget that is all over the place right now? But that has been on my mind huge lately. One, we need a shop assistant, but then also someone who can handle messages, who can handle the customer service side of things, and then also a marketer, social media person.
Yeah, you want to get those legs, you want to start figuring those legs out. And I know, how do I say this? Stateside, it can be difficult finding people that want to commit. See, and that's the beauty of India. I will say, I mean, just in the time I have spent there, I'm so in love with the people. they're such people of honor and respect, and they're so happy, and they live life, and they love work, and they love to honor what they're doing. And I feel like that's a little bit of a lost art right now in good old USA.
Yeah.
So for a lot of business owners, I do respect that it's more difficult to find those people that want to take that kind of ownership.
Yeah.
Without having to say I'm not an owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's like me and Chris's story, at least for the first half of it, was just me finding ownership in it. And like, because I feel like being the photographer and like seeing how many tattooers could really use somebody like me on their side and trying to get these people connected, it's hard. Like, I've had so many people that I recommend just flop or just like not message people back at all. And it's over silly stuff. And, of course you always want to know why, like, what was it? How can I help to get you there? Because, I know a lot of photographers that are just like kind of stuck in the local music scene, or, they're like just doing these little wedding stuff, but those people probably aren't even paying their full taxes and stuff. You know what I mean? Or
yeah, I think I found when I was in photography, I think you could Google and you could pick up at that time about 45 photographers, and there was only 2 studios in Springfield, me and Lighthouser. And all the other ones were working other jobs, which was, I get, that's fine. But to a degree, you have to take ownership in the industry too, because there's a lot of people that when they come in part-time, even as tattoo artists, they like to undercut the pricing, right? They don't understand their self-worth or their time, 2 key things. So they feel they get business by being commoditized and becoming cheap. And hey, I can do it for a third the cost they're going to do it. And that's how they build their reputation. Well, you find that reputation only takes you one way. It takes you south.
right.
It eventually, you're on the race to the cheapest. You'll never win. Photography is so much the same way. Independent creative industries are all encompassed like that. And you get a lot of just part-time people wanting to do it, but what they don't understand is they're not paying respect to the industry if they're not following some of the pricing guidelines, the standards of practice, health concerns, insurances, liabilities. If you're not paying that kind of respect up front, you're disrespecting the industry and disrespecting yourself.
I'm glad to hear that from you, because I feel like I've attempted to have that conversation about this exact topic in photography, like I guess more specifically in the local area, like in like kind of like a tri-city area. And it was difficult for me to word that because I didn't feel like I had the fruits, or I couldn't even like fruit check myself just yet in order to feel confident in saying those things. But I feel like that's very well put.
I pissed off a few photographers in the day just telling them that. Like, you're disrespecting this industry and you're trying to take food out of my mouth. I pay all my taxes, my bills. I live by that camera. That pays. I'm not a teacher. I don't have the summers off to go do this shit. This is my livelihood.
Right.
Now, is that the wrong approach? Yeah, it is, because I've also learned don't focus on your competition.
Yeah.
Right.
That's part of the naive Ty that was still learning. But these are the things you learn as you're self-employed. But the creative, hairdressers, big in that world, and estheticians, just creative independence. That's a world that has a lot of dysfunction and destruction to its industry of itself.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're not business minded.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the fucking heater right
I mean,
there.
they don't teach it in schools.
No, you're not business minded. And majority of them don't take business classes. They don't take finance classes. They don't take accounting classes. They get told by someone, hey, you're pretty good at that. And you hear that 50, 60 times, and people think, oh, maybe I should start a business. Generally, that is the origin.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the cart has already been put before the horse. And now you're backpedaling for the next however long, trying to figure out, how do I make this sustainable? And how do I balance life?
That's fucking hard.
Yeah.
That's difficult. Because even just like the way you put it, like when you put the cart before the horse like that, and then you have to backpedal, like it's almost kind of like what you talked about earlier. Like if you do too well in your first couple and then you fucking, hit your ass or something like that, you're not going to know what to do.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much that you have to backpedal through. And I think that's almost like a nightmare to some people that I know have experienced that because they don't know how deep that hole is that they've put
Well, the
themselves
longer
in.
you sustain it, the deeper it gets. It comes down to a couple things. Somebody scaring you into the fact that whether it's the tax man or somebody's gotten hurt and you don't have the insurance, something, or you're just going to get burnt out because everybody wants a $75 tattoo.
Yeah.
And guess what? I can't pay my rent, but I sure as hell can't charge $750 for one tattoo and pay my rent and my electric. And you see, that's such a spread. And to connect those dots, that takes confidence, determination, and the will to just do it, the grit.
The discipline.
Yeah.
I think I was in that hole for about the first 5 years. I think that there was some aspects of business that was helping me sustain that. Obviously, the relationship side of things. But man, no business experience, no real mentorship or coaching until I got put on at Aisle 9, and that's where I really got introduced to some of the mindset behind it. Not necessarily the actual business side of things, but the confidence, the self-worth, having the more respect for the industry and setting a higher standard. That definitely 5x'd,
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I literally just took a tattooer financial course within the past 6 months to really wrap my head around a lot of it,
And you know what? That's awesome. And you'll continue. And you're young. But I also know there's parts of you that are hurting, that are probably exhausted. And thankfully, you've been able to back off that schedule a little bit to try to get some recovery time in and have a balance of life.
Yeah.
But
But where I've found myself is I feel like I'm in a corner.
Okay.
I feel like there's a couple moves I could make with the shop that would help ease that. But with my own personal business, I don't have many options, with the house, having Tim, having just my own stuff. I feel like I'm limited to the number of moves I can make, but for some reason, I'm really hesitant to step into the direction of hiring people for the shop.
Well,
and that's just, maybe it's from having a couple people I've hired in the past and have had to let go just with $35,000 mistakes or, whatever, but.
Yeah, but man, you're in the weeds. You'll never know what that shop can do until you're out of it. Until you take those steps. And change is hard, and you're going to go through some people. But if you start really implementing the protocols and the training and the systems in place that you expect, and you help mentor those people, I would say as much as you probably have with them, I think you'll latch on to some good people because people are thirsting for recognition, and it's really lacking. And if you can put that same process in place, again, you're going to go through some people, but you're going to find some winners. You're going to find some thirsty people. And it might be out of one of these, it might be Cliff Bart. Maybe you need to come over there and do a session.
Right.
Because I found some thirsty kids there, man, who have seen way more adversity and dealt with way more shit in life than I have. and are putting themselves in that school every day on their own and going to work and doing the shit they need to do. So you'll find it, but you gotta make sure you've got the processes in place. You know how you've got to treat those people, and just keep swinging that bat.
Mm. Good line from one of my favorite movies, Signs. Swing away, Meryl. Swing away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Fuck.
Yeah, the last person I had brought on, she was a sweetheart. She did my messages and basically my assistant. But I got to a point where she just wanted the tattoo. She was doing the teeth whitening. Brooke, I think you actually met her.
I think
right?
I did, yeah.
Well, she wanted to become an apprentice, and I told her I didn't want to apprentice her. I brought her on for specific reasons, and I helped her kind of our first shop meeting, and she's like, "Man, all you guys are doing this. Like, I want to do something more, So we got into the teeth whitening stuff, and she found an apprenticeship at another shop, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but let's not dial back on anything we've already previously arranged. And within a couple weeks, she had done that, and so I let her go. But that is a common thing, I feel like, when people get brought on for certain things, they see how glamorous tattooing can be, and they want to take that on as well. So with that being said, are these positions that I should I feel like there's a few great people in our shop right now that already could handle some of these positions.
But what are these people in the shop doing now? Are they tattooing?
They're tattooing.
No, don't put another creative in an admin position.
Yeah.
Maybe diversify that shop.
Yeah.
Because when you've got good systems people and good admin people in place, they're going to tighten up your ship. They're going to tighten up your tattoo artist. Tattoo artist is probably going to get a little bit pissed off. But they're going to be keeping the books and saying, hey, these are the quotas we're kind of expecting. And what can we do to help you meet those marks?
Yeah. And that's a great point.
Right. Yeah.
It's a great point. Yeah, because in my head, I'm like, well, that could work. They're already there, but I totally get that because I'm a creative, and I have to work really hard.
To focus on the bullshit.
Really hard. I mean, like, way longer than I feel like I should have to. And I'm, like, drawing out webs of responsibilities and trying to organize this chaos, and I just feel like it was more chaotic when I left it.
Right. My wife tells me what she does, and it just scares the shit out of me. I'm like, that's a lot of SKUs, a lot of numbers, a lot of lengths, a lot of measurements. That's a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't even know how to fucking make a spreadsheet.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. We were talking about Excel the other day, and I'm like, this is about all I know, and it works for me. But yeah. She's like, no, you can do that. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But no, so you don't want to put those kind of people in place.
That's funny because I feel like in the business that me and Chris have been, working at since he brought me on, I feel like I struggled with creativity really, really hard starting out, and I was always really strong at the admin stuff. But I feel like I have to turn that shit on and off. Like, I feel like I can almost feel myself wearing completely different hats when I'm bouncing back and forth. And I will say that is difficult. We've talked about that. Just like trying to wear both hats, trying to be the admin and do all the messaging and like all of like the, the scheduling, there was even points where I was trying to like lightweight. Obviously you took care of your own finances, but like, even just taking care of like the money at the end of the night kind of thing, doing all these different things, it becomes difficult while being a creative at the same time. Yeah. Because you're fucking right, dude. There's, there's certain waiting times I have to put in with like fucking Premiere Pro and shit, just waiting for shit to render down or export. But a lot of it is like what you said, the fucking critically thinking on stuff and, putting a lot into that.
Well, and that's where your admin becomes creative. When they start thinking about, okay, how many chairs do we need in here to hit these marks, and what should their quotas be? And teeth whitening, what's our margins? These are creative thinkers as well. They're just in a different space. They're in a different mindset. And generally, you've always heard left brain, right brain. You can have very creative people, but they need to be creative on that side,
Mm.
And I get it. It's a creative environment. So you're just thinking, well, we'll just run with a bunch of tattoo artists and we'll elevate them through the process. And I don't think that works.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't
I
sound like
let
most
the
efficient
tattoo
route.
artist elevate as a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Because I doubt they're going to be real happy having to talk to their peers
Yeah.
and saying, hey,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it would make more sense to have someone who is going to feed this person more, because it would directly, having someone that do those
Absolutely.
messages and customer service would directly affect filling their plate. That's great stuff, man. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking gears have been turning tonight.
Yeah.
I give you that.
Yeah. 100%.
Watch.
Yeah.
After this episode, usually we're out of here by like midnight or whatever. I guarantee me and Chris are probably going to stay here for like 45 minutes. Just like, all right, man, we got to fucking get down.
What
figure
are we
some shit
doing?
out. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do try to give myself grace sometimes, because I hear Gary Vee a lot, and specifically Gary Vee. He's like, if you're not even 30 years old yet, shut the fuck up. Like, you got so much,
Gary Vee lived it.
Right.
And you know what? People can look at that and be like, yeah, he lived it. They don't even understand.
Yeah.
They don't even understand. First of all, he had to work for his dad. Second of all, he had to figure out how to make wine more attractive than his father did with a however old business, a very old business.
Yeah.
It was
existing.
super old, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it had 20 or 30 years under the belt prior to Gary coming on. So he had the pressures of not only that he put on himself of pleasing his family, but how do I grow this and what's my concepts? But you don't see that today. You see guys trying to buy New York Jets, and people think in a blink of an eye he went from this to this, and that's bullshit. And Gary's the first to say, you're right. It didn't happen that way. And we need more of that. We need more people being real, because this is not for everyone. That's why they use the term entrepreneur. It sounds sexy. It sounds provocative, right?
Yeah.
It
100%.
makes you want to be one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone and their mom loves putting that shit around their Instagram.
How about if I looked at you and said, hey, do you want to create your own job? I don't know if you're getting a check or not. I don't know how you're paying the bills. It may work, it may not. And you're going to work a hell of a lot more hours than you do now. Does that sound sexy? No. But that is the reality. And if you can present that, but also help provide some guidance, kind of like what we're doing tonight, on things to look at and to do while you're in it. Because, in the photography world, I'm a control freak. I'm like, that makes no sense. You're literally strangulating yourself by not letting go, by not doing the things that you're really good at and make you money, and letting go of the shit that cost you money, cost you more because you're doing it yourself.
Man.
Because if you're doing that, you can't be making money.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. You can't be multiple places at once. You
Right.
can't be doing
You're one
multiple
person.
things.
So you're not a control freak. You're maybe not meant for this business. You're maybe not meant to be doing this. You may have been persuaded in by the sexiness of it. And it's not sexy. Trust me, it's the greatest life I've ever lived. I had a very strong vision, and I'm a very different person. I'm wired a little differently. And I had damn good people that I latched onto. That doesn't happen for everyone. I am incredibly fortunate. But I went through my shit shows, a lot of them. And like I said, I'm not working for someone else's dream again. I don't give a fuck what I got to do. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I think one time during our session, you had shared with me how many businesses you've actually been through before
one
took off.
I think I've had a total of probably 14, 15 LLCs at this point.
Mm.
I've got a few that are still running that I'm not even a part of anymore. They're doing great. It's like watching your baby grow with its family without you, you know? Yeah, I mean, but I had so many fail. I've questioned myself because I come up with ideas and they fail. And I tell my wife I'm doing this and it fails. And I start to be like, am I like a one-hit wonder or some shit, you know? But I can't stop. I just can't stop. It intrigues me. I'm curious. But I will say, I try to play in my own sandbox now. I don't invest in things I don't know. And if it's not in my wheelhouse, like I haven't done it, or it's not part of my creativity or my vision, I'm not going to go that direction. I've kind of honed that in. Because, I mean, I've been in concession business. I've been in some crazy shit. And they've been successful and they've been complete failures. Like not even make it off paper, right? But that shit's going to happen. It's going to happen to everyone that gets in this game. You got to be okay with that.
Having some thick skin.
Yeah.
Are there on your journey? I feel like you've kind of maybe already answered this, so I'm sorry if you have. But has there been entrepreneurs that you've looked up to, studied? I feel like a lot of what you just talked about. I think Henry Ford's one of the biggest. He's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely watched a lot of history channels on the companies that built America. I think what's interesting, and I think we can all attest to this, you hear these names and you're like, yeah, there's a big name. And you get this slight distaste in your mouth because they're so big, right? Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Elon Musk.
Gary V.
You get that. I hear the BlackRock or Vanguard Corporation. It's not people, but I feel like maybe that kind of connects a little
Right.
bit.
But these are people that have created sustainable businesses that have changed the world. They've literally changed the world. And they have navigated their way through this mess. And I feel like people don't pay homage to that. I mean, I've heard from people that having $1 billion should be illegal. Billionaires should be outlawed. That money should be spread amongst. I'm like, spread amongst who? I'm sorry, there are people with a lot of mental incapabilities, physical incapabilities that are incredibly successful. There is nothing holding you back but you.
Yeah.
And for you to shit on someone else who didn't hold themselves back is dead wrong.
Yeah.
But it's how these stories seem to play and how this society is starting to seem to play in this world. And again, kind of draws me back to India, where people just honor and uplift and want to go to the next level and want to go with you, want to be a part of the ride. And I have never felt more sometimes family than I have there.
We recently had a guy reach out to us on Instagram. I think his name's Michael. Remember? Well, he had sent like probably 24 messages, just like so enthused, just like, hey, I want to help, I can help. He's seeing that we're opening his messages and we're not responding, and he's like, hey, like basically give me a chance kind of thing. But there's been times where, for that instance, I'm like, oh, I just can't do it, because there's been times in the past where we outsourced website making to a guy in Pakistan, and it bit us in the ass, but it almost makes me wonder if, like, a guy like that, if that is, if that falls under this, I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Under that
but
guy that's thirsty, that's looking for that opportunity.
yeah, kind of, because to me, I'm like, man, it sounds like something Grant Cardone would do to someone he's trying to get business from. Email letter after email letter after email letter after follow-up after.
Right. And sometimes you got to check that. And yeah, those are the people potentially.
Yeah.
I wish I had a magic solution for
Right.
who to select and not to
Right.
select, but I don't.
Probably just comes from good conversation and getting to know each other, huh?
I mean, quite honestly, I've never hired anyone.
What that
by that you mean they found you and got on board kind of thing? Or?
Well, I mean, I've hired a few people at the photography studio, and it was hit or miss. It was either okay or bad. I will never say it was great. But in my current business, I've not hired anyone. Our production manager, he built the entire team. He knows that. He knows that end. I don't know that end of it. I know how to get the work to you. I know who to connect with. I know how to help supply or fill the chain, the supply line. But I don't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting to know that you can, because I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right?
And I don't know if I'm good at it. I don't know if I'm good at hiring people that will be successful. I don't know if I'll have all the standards and protocols put in place and the mentoring and the acknowledgments and I don't know. It doesn't interest me. And so that's part of the problem.
Right. And it's interesting that you can really break down in your head or conceptually write it down or whatever, but really break it down that far and what you can and cannot. See, there's that fucking word, can't. How you can delegate what things someone else might be better at and really break it down that detailed is like, this person might just actually be better than I am at knowing people.
This comes with self-awareness. And self-awareness in a young mind is an old soul. It's very difficult to find. It takes years of figuring out, I suck at this part, and I need to find somebody better. But you've really got to kind of have that come to Jesus meeting with yourself. Or if you've got a partner like mine, he has no problem telling me what I'm good and not good at. And you know what? He's right. He's right every time. I have never had to question him in 14 or 15 years. He's spot on because he cares about me. He doesn't say it out of, there's no jealousy, anger, distrust. It's his care and his concern for not only me, but for our people and for our business. And so you have to become self-aware. You have to know your limitations. But that doesn't mean you stop there. It means you find the people that can catapult you.
Right. It's kind of like the edge of the universe thing is like you find the edge of it so that you can understand how much further it can go.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always growing. I could go down a rabbit hole with that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I get it, man. I get it.
Maybe we need this for that.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's dude, that's I fucking love talking with you, brother.
I appreciate it. I love talking with you guys.
I feel stretched from this conversation 100%.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like I get that. Obviously being having some of the brothers and sisters I have in my life, I'm blessed for that because I feel like I can't walk in the shop without either A, being greeted and just feel appreciated for even existing and showing up, or being stretched or hitting me with some challenge, whether it be, you know, asking you guys something about tattoos that I really don't have any business asking, or it's the printer or something, you know. But just in this conversation, I can say that, like, you know, I'm fucking stretched.
Yeah.
You know, and when I mean stretched, it's just like exactly that, is feel like I found some of my edges, you know, like the edges of my universe, and starting to see how much further that can go, because it's not really the edge of it. It's just
Right.
the edge of what it is right
Right.
now.
The world's not quite flat, is it?
No.
Springfield,
No.
Ohio's not quite flat, is it?
Yeah.
There's so much more out there, and it's really a mindset. You know, that's for someone who has the type of time I have. You know, I've really had to continue to work on my mindset, and even because, man, I have shitty days. I have days I don't want to get out of bed. I have days I don't want to do anything, and there are days I just don't do anything. We all have those, but I am really working on, I think The Rock said it. I'm a huge Rock fan. That is one of my mentors. That dude's a badass.
Fuck yeah, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Like, he's a badass. And I don't mean that because he's big and muscular. That dude's got a mind that is beautiful. But I have really been studying that process of gratitude and saying, instead of saying I have to, saying I get to. And really, when you start saying it to yourself, I get to go work out today. I get to create today. I get to do a badass tattoo. It really does start to make you feel in a different way. And it sounds hokey as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's so true. It is so true. And also, I don't want everybody to be able to do what I do. I want to outwin. I want to do the hard shit. I want to prove that to myself. And that may sound arrogant. And I'm sorry if it does, but that's what gets me through sometimes.
Yeah. I seen a Facebook post earlier by a tattooer, Tim Pigburn, and he was talking about competition and competitive spirit in today's world. And there are so many, and I think that a lot of times, especially in the tattoo industry, competition has negative connotations. Like, I'll bust out your shop windows kind of competition for stealing my clients. And it's rooted. I mean, that's kind of how it was when it kind of started out in California, and shops on the same block, and they're like gang wars type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he was talking about just competition, and so many people were like, no, there is no competition. We can all be friends. And, you know, but I think that in any marketplace, it is a competition. You know, it doesn't have to be taken in a negative way, but that way, like what you just said, like I really want to be the best or outlast. And, you know, I relate a lot to that, and I feel like I don't speak on competitive terms because I don't want it to be perceived as negative.
You know what? It actually shouldn't be. I want you to liken your concept to a simple business setup. Restaurants always set up next to each other. Always. They work within community of each other. Look at it, Bechtel Avenue. Anywhere you go, restaurants set up next to each other. Their competition's what feeds that community. They're not even focused on each other. They're focused on their own standards and practices. There are some that want to be better and are. But in truth, would the good one get the customer if the bad one wasn't there for them to experience the bad to get the good?
Right.
See what I mean?
And it even goes back into a little bit what you said earlier, is like, you said you learned to stop paying attention to your competitors, right? Like, conceptually, I think. Because, like, the competition exists for that exact reason you just explained. But I feel like like how much is not paying attention to them, or maybe it's like your intent of what it is.
Well, it's exactly it. It's your intent. You should pay attention, because if you're not paying attention that you have competition, you're just being naive. But good competition drives your business to be better.
And if it's a competition, your better business will drive them to be better.
Absolutely.
And, it
And
goes
guess
back to,
what?
like, iron sharpens
Generally,
iron
the pie is big enough.
to feed everybody.
Right.
Yeah. That's gold.
Dude, we talk about that. You know, there's fucking new skin being formed every single day.
Yeah. And that's what I love about this podcast, because we always, we don't want to be the guys with the answers. That's not our.
Well,
it's too much pressure there. It's way too much pressure
for this to be Buddha.
I don't want to solve lives, but the conversation allows me to grow as well.
No, absolutely.
And
I'm growing here too, just listening. If you were the only tattoo artist, you probably wouldn't be that busy, because nobody know what tattoos are.
yeah,
Right.
the demand just wouldn't be there.
Right. That's again, that's where you've got to have the self-awareness to understand what competition even is. Because if you're looking at it from an emotional value, you're fucked. If you're looking at it from a business perspective, taking the emotion out of it. This makes good sense, and this makes me become better.
And when you say take the emotion out of it, just for an example.
For an example, damn it, he's copying my work, man. I know he's trying to be me. I know what he's trying. That's emotion. Guy's pretty good. He's kind of looking as good as I am. What do I need to do to step my game up?
So really, you're talking about dropping your ego.
Self-awareness.
Right. Right.
That was always big with me and Hip. That competitive spirit where, even though we don't work together, we still use that to grow each other.
Yeah.
But that's a fucking great way to put it. And I was on this post earlier, and do I jump on here and try to, but I just kind of was reading through the comments, and there were so many twisted perspectives. And I feel like so many people were trying to save feelings and not hurt.
Your time is more valuable than social media comments.
Yeah.
That is knee-jerk reactions, mainly emotional, from anonymous people. And they can inflate their emotion because they're not in front of you, because they have a cyber wall in front of them. That shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I used to get wrapped up in that world, and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Your successes will be in the darkness, like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you know what? As you get older, like I am, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
You're going to want to be with your family. You're going to want to spend all the time doing whatever you want to do, and not having to worry about what other people are trying to figure out about you.
Man. And especially in a world where, like, I'm as the social media dude, I feel like there's always people like saying they've got the secret sauce. You know what I mean? The secret sauce is this and it's that. And
I think I really learned that from my wife. My wife was like, before we got married, she's like, "Why do you post so much? Who are you trying to impress?" I was like, you're pretty cool because you don't post at all, but you got a lot of shit you could post about. And I thought that was cool, because that right there was someone who knew themselves, didn't need somebody else to tell them. And that's who we are becoming, and will continue to. You've already proven who you are, brother. You as well. You don't need anybody to tell you.
That relieves some pressure.
it really did, because this last 5 years, I started out. I barely touched a camera at all before working with Chris, and now I feel like the last year or so, the last 2 years, I've been at a place where I'm like, dude, there's nothing about this fucking camera that you couldn't, or I know all of it. I
Right.
already know I've already done all the tricks and shit over trying so hard and wanting to hit a standard of like growth and excellence. And like Chris said, patience is big, but it is very validating to know that we might just exactly be where we're supposed to be right now.
Exactly. If you gotta take, again, it's not a sprint. And fast tracking via social media is what a lot of people are trying to do, because here's the deal. Everybody's a sheep. Everybody wags their tail the same damn way. One person's doing this, 1,000 people are doing it, 10 million are doing it. Generally, if you go the opposite direction, there's a bigger field of grass to chew from. You know what I mean? It's not where everybody's hanging out.
Right.
And that's the path I like. And it is. It's sustainable. It's long term. It's a marathon. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, because really, I'm at a point in business where my business basically cruises like this.
Yeah.
There's no big ups, downs. Even if we did blow up on social media, like I couldn't handle much more. You know, so it's like
you are one person
right.
doing what you do. Now your shop could.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe that's where tension needs to, for sure. You know.
Right, because again, whatever revenue more that shop generates, that eases the burden off of you.
Yeah.
To allow you to even get more kick ass, because it's like, shit, I'm just doing this today because I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really been my biggest goal this year. Is I've heard Best of Springfield a lot. I've began to hear Best in Ohio more. But like I want to be fucking world class. Like
Exactly.
I want to be known.
You want to be going to India to competitions that you're invited to, or Europe, or Germany, and be this guy is an incredible artist. And that shop will allow you to become that.
Yeah. Ease some of the financial pressure or
right. It's like me, man. I want to go national with my project. I don't care if I ever make a dime. I just want to go national with this project because I now play with a camera and have fun creating that I had lost so long ago in the world of photography.
What does that look like, going national with your exhibit? Like, what would that vision look like to you?
I want to do projects in DC, with veterans. I want to do projects with deaf, blind. I want to do projects where people are not being understood, that are given the chance. And I want that to have national exposure. I want that to draw national attention.
Man.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's big.
So,
that's
I mean,
big,
dude, okay, tonight's been a huge conversation, really big. I think we've gotten a lot of, the heat. I'm sure there's so much more to go. But, what are, what I think some people would ask someone like Gary Vee these things is what are some of your small joys in your life? Or we talked about small victories recently, but it's what are some of those to you in your day to day?
My small joys is getting up with my wife and getting her ready for work, getting her stuff made, getting her car warmed up, playing with my dogs. Love my dogs. She's made me a bigger dog lover. I love mowing the grass. Used to fucking hate it.
You got a nice zero turn.
No, I got to push.
Fuck yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I like landscaping. I like creating a home that people look at and this guy takes care of his shit. I love cars.
Yeah, which you and your wife have nice
We
nice
love
matching rides, huh?
We love our cars. I love to sit on the deck from March till October after work, after my wife gets done working out, and we just sit and have a few drinks, watch TV, and start a fire. I enjoy my independence more than I enjoy anything else, and my freedom to spend time with her. I've been married a few times, and I've not done so well in that category. And I have learned marriage is more than just falling in love, right? And I'm with someone who I have the highest respect for and who can easily put me in place and be correct. Like, I can't really argue that. So those are my little wins. And I don't even think those are little. They're big. I love working out. I love doing cardio every morning because people fucking hate it. And I'll tell you right now, you want to change your mindset, you change your fitness. You start doing cardio. Cardio is a bitch. But if you can continue to get better and longer and stronger, you can apply it to any process that you're working through, personally, financially, spiritually.
I know just a little bit of taste of time I've been able to buy back in that family time and not having to answer, you know. I love it. Granted, there's the security's not there. The systems, the business is not there to sustain. I get to enjoy it for now, you know, but man, I could totally fall in love with that life. For sure.
You'll have a guilt and an imposter syndrome all at the same time. But you just gotta.
It's almost like skipping school, but no, you shouldn't. Like, damn, I should be at school
Like,
right now.
if
but
people really knew how many hours of work I put in a week, they'd be like, but you know what? I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Because I have the scar tissue.
Yeah.
To show you why I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at that point. I mean, I've struggled with that, I think, for like the last 2 years, is after I've learned all the stupid hard camera shit and you know, building up Big Mo on social media and stuff, just for my portions of what I'm contributing to this. Feels really daunting to, like, even just this last week at my birthday, it feels horrible taking time off for your birthday, you know, or
right. I get it. And you know what? It'll take years to disconnect that. It will. There will always be some level of guilt to a degree, because you got, especially as a creative, because you're like, why am I not working on something? But
you're
again,
not creating.
Those are the pressures you're setting on yourself. And for every artist that's written the best songs in the world, they'll tell you they didn't write the song. The song it just flowed through them like it was given to them by God. And these projects, the biggest things I've done in my life, it's not what I worked on. It was given to me. But I took the time to allow it to happen, and I trusted it, and I went with it. And you'll let go of the guilt. You have to. You have to condition yourself to let go of the guilt.
Funny enough, I think one thing that has kind of helped me for the first like 10 years of my career, every day I would come home and I would just get stoned, smoke some weed, and I would hyper focus on business. And over the years, I've noticed that as soon as I smoke, it's like those gears start kicking. Well, recently I've dialed way back, and in the evenings I haven't been smoking, and it's like I feel release. Like, it's weird how much of this mindset was tied with this act. It was like, it's like a habit, but the trigger or the cue was the smoking.
Right. It was the catalyst to start you into the business gears.
Yeah, and then now it's like, man, I don't feel all this anxiety or pressure or.
Well, and let's be honest with us. What is truly our goal in life?
Be happy.
And what makes you happy?
Doing things that make you happy.
Your own freedom.
Yeah.
Your own independence. All the shit that we're doing starts out as an ego-driven situation. We're good. We want to get better. We're telling ourselves we're good. We can do this. We're great. We're building businesses to prove ourselves. Blah, blah, blah. But the end result is we really want our own freedom to do the things that make us happy. So now, that's what you have to understand with self-employment. It's also called self-enslaved. And you have to build barriers between you and your businesses so that they don't own you or define you. You have to define them.
So many times I've felt like that too. It's like, man, I just can't. I'm committed. I can't. There's not much wiggle room. I can't slack off. Or I got to do this, or this client's gonna fall through, or I'm gonna. I've definitely felt enslaved.
Well, and
sure.
You're probably dealing with external pressures, bills,
new mortgage,
stuff like that. So that's where I'm big on. It's not about what you make; it's about what you don't owe. So you're learning to harness that financial tool of money. Now you've got to learn how to quickly disperse it to bring down all your pressures. Because I will tell you, when that's gone and you're king, you will feel like a king. When you have no bills and you're just, I don't give a shit what college of business you subscribe to, whether you believe debt is great because I can buy real estate and blah, 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 blah. I subscribe to Dave Ramsey. I subscribe to the shit that says, pay your shit off, build as much wealth as you can, and don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah, because...
And I'm not here to tout Dave Ramsey. I'm just here to say, I would bet every person in this world is wanting more independence and freedom to do the things that make them happy. Yeah. And there are paths to get you there. You just got to be willing to work them.
Do you think that's why that I feel like America, land of the free, I feel like that's almost been taken and skewed to where it's like, well, we're not actually free. But do you think that's just because people aren't taking these steps to gain it?
Well, give me your sole belief on why we're not free.
Well, for me, it's because I haven't earned the money to be able to buy back my freedom necessarily, maybe.
You haven't earned the money, or you've created the debt that the money hasn't been able to pay off yet. Which way does it go?
In my exact scenario, yeah, because I have debt, I have bills, building a business.
Right. But you had the freedom and the ability to do it quite the opposite way.
Yeah.
So you are free.
Yeah.
There's no handbook.
Yeah.
That's the problem, and there's no one giving enough information, and most people are scared to ask questions.
Well, and just to be clear, like, I don't subscribe to that message because I even though the debt's there, it doesn't necessarily weigh on me a ton,
No, I'm not saying it does, but I am saying if it wasn't there at all, would it feel better?
Yeah, if I'm in the exact same scenario financially, yeah. I could see myself being in a lower tax bracket, not making much and not having the debt, and still feel like I was in a stronghold. I could see that too.
So the same concepts you put in your business, like, this is where I want the shop to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
You should have those for you and Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should budget that accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you want to travel the world, which I know you do, you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the exact answer I was trying to pull out, because I feel like there's so many people that subscribe to that message, but they're just not taking the action to gain.
It's all about the discipline. I mean,
That's what I was about to say.
it literally, there's only a few words that I'm going to use that describes everything tonight we've talked about.
Yeah.
And until you tap into those few words, it's going to be a human rat wheel that's perpetual of the same shit.
Man. Couple of those keywords: discipline, self-awareness,
You got to have grit.
grit,
You got to have it. You got to have some tenacity or grit.
the desire, determination, drive. And somehow when you're describing all these things and I'm saying these words, I can feel how they're all different. You know, I feel like desire and drive and determination, even maybe drive and determination is a little bit the same, but you can have desires and
With
not,
zero drive.
right?
Which is just an idea.
And I feel like there's a few of those words that I hear and I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm not living up to that. You know?
Oh,
I understand, and I'm
for
not
sure.
I'm not here to preach. This is all trial by fire.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, everything we're talking about is not like I'm above this.
Sure. You're in the grind too, constantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I knew when we were like, even well before we even like pulled the trigger on doing this show, we had like doing that creative mapping, just like figuring out what this could be. And you had got brought up, and we both was like, dude, that would just be nuts. And it has been nothing short of that this whole
100%.
fucking time. And like Chris said, we never want to come off as we're the fucking guys, and really,
And nor do I.
right. And I feel like you borderline exude that when you're talking about this stuff. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, we talk about this is like the takeaway. I feel like you have a takeaway about it. It's like you're free to do whatever you want, you know, and it's no pressure on me to give you this information because it's stuff that I picked up or it's stuff that had been given to me through life. So it's no pressure, no weight on me to share these things with whoever is going to ask.
Yeah.
But just that, yeah, same deal. I feel like you just deliver the message in a way where you're not like the fucking dude, but there's trust in that. You know what I mean? There's so much trust in communicating.
Well,
with
I
someone
hold a
like
high
you.
respect for it because it took me a long time to learn this. And it was the best and the toughest education ever. But I grew up with grit and drive and discipline. And I promise you, you can conquer the world. It just depends on how far you want to conquer it. I know where I want to go. I'll get there. It's just a matter of me putting in the time.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I believe in manifestation. If you don't have a clear vision that you're following, what the fuck are you following?
Yeah. A GPS works, but if you ain't got no coordinates, you're just driving aimlessly.
Right. So I've got to be the one. And here's the thing I like to do. I like to speak about it. I like to make it public at times. I'll drop it here and there because that keeps me in check to make sure I'm living up to the end that I said I would.
Dude, I used to have a pretty big moral stance on that, which has changed now. Like I used to feel like you don't speak things because then you can never fail, right?
Well, that or you don't want somebody involved in your business or know too much about your business. And I get that. I can respect that. You're right. I used to think that too. But this comes back to holding yourself accountable. And that is why I like to speak it. That's why I just said tonight, I will go national with this project. I want to. I'm holding myself to that because I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the love of the project. And I know the more exposure it gets, the more it's going to connect people. I've had all the press in the world I need. But if I can make this kind of connection, this kind of impact, and people can feel these kind of emotions, that's cool.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Man, I feel like if feel like everyone could use a little bit of that, because hearing all of this and in context of this whole conversation, it really has painted a clear picture to me that there's no excuse. That's not even the right way of putting it. I feel like everybody has something.
Everybody
Like, I feel like
does.
really now I feel like everyone does have a thing.
Look, everybody was put on this earth for a purpose. It's your choice to find it.
Do you think that's why there's so much anxiety and depression throughout people, because they don't know their purpose?
First of all, I'm glad you touched on that. I'm careful to get into the mental health.
Sure.
I do believe that mental health exists, but I don't think it's a badge of honor. I think it's something that people need to understand. First of all, the word used to never be anxiety. The word used to be anxious. And anxious was only a feeling that you could get over. It would subside. Anxious became anxiety, which is a condition. Where did the condition come from? And again, I'm not saying people don't have it, but when you are told time and time again, hey, I've got anxiety, or I've got depression, and now we have pills for it. And everything today is in a pill form.
Yeah.
Every solution to a problem is in a pill form.
Yeah. It's more solution-based and not prevention-based.
Yeah, preventative. Or even like...
So how do you become an independent individual that you can work on your own if you cannot rely on your own mental and physical health?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are reliant upon someone else at that point in the game.
And you believe that that everyone is capable, like, just to be clear, like, you feel like everyone has the tools?
I think absolutely. I think you can look at some of the people with the most severe physical inabilities in the world, and mental, blind, deaf. Tell me that's not a mental health. Living in a world of darkness and silence.
Mm.
Look what people who knew that this was a power and not a hindrance in their life have become.
Mm. Yeah. Probably got stronger tools than most.
They're amazing. They make us, people like you and I, they make us look silly because we have all the capability and can't do half of what they can. It's just like autism. To me, autism is a gift. It is a powerful gift. And I mean that in the most respectful sense, because they're some of the smartest, creative, amazing philosophers, creatives, mathematicians, scientists in the world that we can't even tap into. It's right, they're on a whole different level when they talk the spectrum. They are on a whole different level. They're on a powerful, good level. And as long as they're made to feel that way, they'll blossom and grow that way. So, yes, I look at, if you just want to sit around and say, I've got ADHD, I've got obsessive compulsive syndrome. I may have never even been diagnosed. I'm just self-diagnosing myself because I'm having this trouble. The more you say that to yourself, guess what?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
The more it is. You've manifested that in your life. You've set your vision. You've set your path. You have the ability to change that. And trust me, I'm not saying there isn't serious mental and physical disabilities that don't need help. They do. I'm just saying it's become glamorized today. And there are a lot of people who shouldn't be glamorizing it, but taking care of themselves and doing better.
Mm-hmm. I touched on that a little bit on, I think the episode we had with Bryn, and I can relate a lot to that because I've been quote unquote diagnosed as bipolar I think it's like type B. I stopped paying attention to be honest with you, because I went that whole route of like being medicated and stuff, and dude, it didn't feel right, because it felt like like you had said, felt like I was forfeiting tools that I had. Felt like I was forfeiting capabilities or a possibility even, or even an opportunity, all of the above, to doing something different than what I was, instead of just being complacent and just letting someone else tell me what's going on, and then following these lists of rules and stuff that is going to quote unquote end me up in the right spot, versus just recognizing that I'm a person that experiences things this way and that I can manage it. However, it would be silly of me to think that I'm exactly the same as the person right next to me, and just I'm exactly the same as them because they're bipolar 2.
Sure.
Or been labeled as such or self-diagnosed. I would like to think I'm fucking built different. You know what I mean?
And that could be a superpower to you, because you might be able to sense things that are intuitive for your direction that others couldn't sense. And again, if you can turn it to a positive, I do believe you can make great use of it.
I agree. We, to plug one of the artists we work with at the shop, Grace, and I know that she struggles with this and I can see it, but the overthinking thing. And I tried to explain to everyone at our shop that, dude, I relate to that a lot, because I feel like a lot of times, even me in Chris's business, overthinking has landed me in some, like maybe some thought bubbles that didn't even need to be necessary. But the way that I explain it to people is like, well, at least I had the thought. I now have the option of choosing all of these different avenues of thought.
Right. Or you could also use this option. Instead of overthinking, I'm second guessing. And you will find people with a lot of success, whether it be in personal, financial, they're quick to make a decision because they're not second guessing themselves. Mm-hmm. Overthinking can be contributed to second guessing, and that can be a lack of confidence.
I've definitely seen content on that before. You can directly tell the amount, you can directly tell how big someone's bank account is by how fast they make their decisions.
Absolutely. Because you're quick to succeed, you're quick to fail.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just all fast.
It's binary. It's off on. Yeah. If you're going to dance around the fire, you don't know if you can get through it or if you're going to get burned.
Yeah.
So, look, for every choice, we've created a solution. I don't want to do this. We have a pill. I don't want to eat this. We have a pill. I am feeling like this. We have a pill. We have a solution for every decision that we don't want to make for ourselves. And they are ran by large industry giants.
Good old megacorp.
Which is okay. Because I do believe well intent was initially in place for many of them. But I think the more we rely on that as our solutions, the more we lose our independence in society and community. It's just like with AI. Singularity wasn't supposed to happen until like 2035. It's happening. It's where the computer exceeds the human. Okay? If you don't think that everybody is trying to figure out the race to the top to control human at this point in the game, you're mistaken. And I'm not trying to be conspiracy theory. It's proving itself. It's walking a straight line.
And that's what I was just about to say, because like it would be so easy for some people that misunderstood or didn't take the full context of this conversation and say that's like a conspiracy theory thing. but you reverse engineered it.
Absolutely.
Like you completely broke it down to
I broke it down to the simplest parts of life, and I'm showing you the more complex parts and how they all align. And it's all by our own decisions and our own discipline.
Damn, that's bro.
Yeah, I want to take a quick second because you brought up Grace earlier, and we've had conversations, and one of her excuses or reasons for apologizing, or she seems like things are chaotic, and she tends to say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I deal with ADHD, slightly on the spectrum, but now I just want to go in and be like, Grace, like you have such a fucking superpower. She's a first-year tattooer. She knows enough about her business and the ins and outs that she filed her own taxes." And I'm just like, holy fuck, like I don't want to hear another excuse made,
right,
because
man.
You are a fucking superhuman.
Turn it around,
Turn
it around on her, but give her all the confidence in the world to understand why she should be like, you're right. I got this shit.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. You can either choose to be relying upon yourself or relying on something else. We all have that decision. There are mentally handicapped people that do not have that decision, that we don't understand, that we have never been in that position. But for the majority of us that are clear and free thinkers, we have that option.
Every person just got challenged. I would be willing to bet, I'd put money on this, that I feel like not a single person for the whole duration that this podcast will be up, just to be on, hopefully for fucking forever as soon as we release it. But I don't know if there's going to be anyone that could listen to it and not feel challenged
100%
in some portion of it, even just some small bit, because it's like, again, we said it probably halfway. I don't even know how long we've been fucking recording at this point, but we said like an hour ago that it felt stretched, and the whole next hour was like, okay, let's fucking go. But man, I think I do have to actually take a second to check the cameras, because I just looked down and it's been like fucking 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Well, my thought was if the cameras went blank, the audio is picking up, so
we'll just throw
do like a short little like, hey, we ran out of clip time, but fucking hang out and listen, because it's packed. I mean, it's
okay. Can I use the restroom?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Ooh, I don't want
For sure. Yeah, I figured even if we lost the cameras, that it's picking up audio. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this has been a fucking crazy episode.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, this is like some Rogan level conversations right here. Like,
but dude, I'm telling you, like like he fucking said, we're like doing that, and I just think it's gonna happen more and more.
Yeah.
As we like do this.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just a lot to unpack right now. I don't.
And you're right, dude. I feel more challenged from tonight than I have felt in probably the past year.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Like, I'm really trying to think about the last time that I felt this stretch. Like, really felt this stretch, and it's dude, it feels good. It feels so fucking good. Like, talking about cardio. I used to do cardio all the time, but it's like now, wow, I don't want to do that. But dude, I'm thinking like I just sat down and wrote out this whole letter to send to this stupid Planet Fitness down in Milford, because you have to like, if you like sign up at a Planet Fitness, you have to go back to that exact one to cancel it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck that letter, dude. I'm about to
just keep
because
it.
well, yeah, like Blaine has his his gym and everything, and I would love to get back with him. I actually messaged him a couple of days ago.
Did you?
Yeah, but dude, I really did used to love cardio, and I feel like everything that Ty was just saying, it's the whole make your bed thing.
Well, the exercise and discipline around eating is I feel like it's the one area, if I really cleaned up, like I would have a really good grasp on things, but I just have not been disciplined enough in that area to really be like, you know what, fuck, dude, it shouldn't be hard for me to lose 30 to 40 pounds. Like 200 is like such a fucking ideal weight for me, you know. I would love, you know, but it's like I keep telling myself, God, it's such 40 pounds, it's a lot. But really,
But yeah, really, does it have to be?
no, you know.
Man.
It's fucking good, man.
Yes, brother.
Love
Thank
you, brother.
Love you.
Yeah, man.
Whew.
Would you even fucking believe this is
That one's still recording?
got
Sick.
18 minutes left on it?
Sick.
Yeah, this one's done. Oh, yeah, this one done got fried.
Yeah. I figured it probably did.
That's alright though.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I'm good right now, brother.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Man, it's been a productive evening.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man. Thank you for being here, for real.
Absolutely.
I fucking, I feel like we really get stuff from every person on, so I'm very thankful for all the guests that we've had so far. But dude, Chris and I were just talking about this. Like, I don't remember the last time I felt this stretched or like this.
It's been a while.
Challenged is a good way of putting it. Like, really, I'll fucking fire into my ass right now, and I already felt like I was doing pretty good,
Yeah.
But it always feels good when you have this like resurgence of, oh, dude, I can go 40 more miles on this bitch. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I've got so much further that I can go than where I was thinking I was at, even just before stepping in the front door tonight. You know what I mean? So that feels fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my, you can either call it a gift or a shortcoming. I'm pretty frank. I've never sugarcoated. I don't try to be harsh.
Yeah.
And I try to provide context to anything I feel passionate about, because I know what I'm saying can sometimes be misdirected or misunderstood. And I don't want it to be that way.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that regardless, you need to know we are all in it together. We all experience the same everyday ups and downs, period. There is no one impervious to that. There is no true superhero that shields that off daily. But if you want to live life, might as well fucking do it.
Right, dude. I mean, I don't feel like at this point that I have anything to lose anymore.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think the way you deliver things is good, and it's really what a lot of people need nowadays, because everything's sugar coated.
Yeah.
Everything's soft. Everything's like
is.
meant to not hurt feelings. But that you had a video you shared on your Facebook. It was of a woman talking, and it talked about how people growing up or parents have really did a disservice for their kids and not making things hard, eliminating challenges, eliminating the struggle to where when they reach a certain point in life, they can't handle the hardness. But I think that when you deliver something a certain way, and just how you speak and deliver it, I can tell the passion's there, and I can tell the care's there. I care enough about you to be real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I could totally see how in today's world that could be misconstrued. But it's like, so what if it is? Because that's what people need.
I mean, it is a stand I'll take, and I'll live and die by it, because it's not only provided a great life for myself. I've had the joy of watching others experience it, and it saddens me when people, and it frustrates me. It just literally pisses me off when you just won't pick up your own bootstraps. You just take the situation by hand. And look, it's tough, but do it. Because I swear, you know what? It's scar tissue, like I said. That problem will never be that tough again.
Yeah.
Never, because you've experienced it. You've lived it. You're ready for the next level. You're ready for that next challenge. And that'll build more scar tissue. And pretty soon, problems that sounded insurmountable in your head are like little gnats. Just kind of flick them away, like, because you've lived it, you've experienced it. You know how to handle it. You know how to pull through.
It's good stuff. Well, what do you think? This is probably a good spot, huh?
Yeah, we're blessed that the camera's still
Yeah.
even going.
It's been running on you the whole time, man. So
And it's so funny because usually there are like, we'll record for like 2 hours and usually like 30 so minutes where I can like cut it down to consolidate and get like the meat and potatoes. But oh man, I mean, we're both gonna have to clip this bitch. I'm gonna tell you that, because there's just been so many. Like, dude, it doesn't even do it justice to say little nuggets. You know what I mean? Just like big, impactful things. But like how Chris was saying, in your delivery, there's so much intent, there's care, there's a desire in what you're even saying. But you're not doing it like, oh, you're fucking not doing good enough. Like, you're not like even remotely least aggressive person I know.
You can tell that you want the people to be better, the industry to be better.
Oh, absolutely.
People to thrive.
I want humanity to thrive.
Yeah.
And it's not thriving.
Yeah.
It is not thriving. If we really believe this is the best we can do,
we're not doing so great.
We're not doing so well.
Yeah.
Everything in life is outpacing us. Everything. And do we then become slave to the ship? Do we? I don't know. Maybe not in my lifetime. Maybe. I don't know. Shit, things are happening now that I didn't expect to see for 15, 20 years.
Like all these fucking I see videos of shit all the time, like robots like better at like soccer than human beings.
So I mean,
like,
that's it. Do we want to be a better human, or do we just want to say fuck it, we give up?
And I feel like these are really the things that we're pitted up against now.
These are real situations,
right, dude? And it's crazy because some of this stuff is, there are things I think that we're gonna face in this next, maybe even saying a decade is a lot of time.
It's not. Not at the speed things are moving right now.
And that's what I meant. I was like, dude, maybe even 5 years.
Yeah.
I feel like 10 years might even be like too far out. But even just in this next 5 years, I feel like everybody is going to be faced with things that, like, the only calling to it is humanity.
Well, and it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's like a trickle syndrome. It's like putting you on an IV and just kind of feeding you drops, because you don't want to disrupt life quickly, because then it's obvious. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me feed you a little bit, because you're not willing to make your own decisions, right? You're not putting the discipline in for yourself. And by that happening, you almost know it's not happening until it's too late. The word technology and what it's already done to industries in the last 1 year is far more severe than technology did probably in the first 40 years. Okay? Now, I realize people talk about it's reshaped it. Okay? A tractor was never smarter than a human. It might have replaced the donkey and the plow, and technology advanced that way. But now the tractor, it doesn't need you. Tractor can drive itself. Tractor can go out there on AI and GPS and put a fucking 200 acres of corn down without you. That's the difference. So the speed of which it is, these are real situations. But the only way we can get there to even understand those situations is by first understanding ourselves and our own capabilities and making those decisions daily to be that person. And that's what humanity is.
I can't help but I can't get that outwitting the book devil out of my head. I feel like the main premise of the book is just getting the human beings, like the biggest objective for the devil is to get people to coast through life and not make any kind of wake. They don't think for themselves. They don't. There's just no. Everyone's just drifting. And I feel like there's so many things that are being implemented that would be described as traps by the devil in the book. How much of this would you contribute to like evil purposes? I mean, does that make sense?
Well, no matter however you look at religion, they all have pretty much one core purpose, and that is to love humanity and respect humanity and lift it up. And to say it's evil, you have to find out what the necessary drive is. And so I would say it's for money. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say so.
And I would say in most religions, money is considered the root of all evil. Because when misused, it divides and destroys.
And this goes, brings it full circle to like what you were saying in the beginning of the show. It's like, really just not having your goals in check. Is your goal to be the best at a certain thing because you love it, or is your goal to make the most money out of it or something like that, or to attain like the most physical thing? I mean, it's kind of hard to describe.
Well, it's a well-rounded conclusion, I think. You need to make the most money. You need to owe the least amount. And you need to have the most independence to be you. You need to own all areas of your life, not bits and parts, because it's all a jigsaw puzzle to one beautiful piece. So if success to you is making $100,000 a year, you need to go make $100,000 a year. And your success is, I want to make that 100,000. I want to live like I make $500,000. Well, you need to make sure you don't have any debt. And I want to make sure that nobody tells me where I need to be, when I need to be. I want to be my own person. Okay, well, that's how you create that. And that's the conclusion. You have to, that discipline facilitates into all aspects of your life. Or you're not balanced, period. You can be really driven in the financial end, but you could be a shitty person and a shitty husband, and you're never around. Or you could be driven to make all the money in the world, but you don't know how to put a fucking dollar in the bank. And to be able to build your own barriers in life that allows you the independence and the freedom. You've got to work on that three-legged stool, if you will, for it to be balanced.
Yeah. I feel like there's just so many areas that I'm slacking in now.
But here's the thing. We all have been. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable. I'm telling you, it's fucking doable.
100%.
I'm not going to sit here. I've been through some shit. Financially, spiritually, physically. It is all doable.
Yeah. It's that discipline to keep going.
It's that desire, man. It's that I want to live in humanity. I want that independence. I want that freedom. I want to enjoy my life through eyes and experiences, spend as much time as I can with my wife at home, wherever we want to be. But I can't waver every day from those disciplines. And now I don't even know I'm doing them. That's the thing, man. it really is second nature for anybody that does it for a period of time. They don't even know they're doing it.
Mm.
People say, you've heard that whatever he touches is gold. You know why? He didn't even know he's doing it because he's done it so well so many times. He's practiced. He's practiced. He's practiced. He's just good.
And he's practiced at everything.
Everything in his life that
And-
meant something
right.
to him.
Oh.
It's a lot of shit I'm wasting time on. It's a lot. There's a lot of shit.
And I want that, man. I want freedom.
And you can have it.
Yeah.
And I promise you that. And you should have it younger than I did.
Yeah. I'm going to get it. That's for sure.
I've
That's for
never
sure.
just on my own felt like I had a more clear vision of that than tonight. Like, probably gonna have a hard time sleeping tonight for sure. Like,
And here's the thing. This isn't like a New Year's resolution, right?
Yeah.
This shit's going to get hard in a few weeks. These disciplines.
right.
Your mind will want to tell you to back out many times over. Okay? Your mind wants you to be lazy. Your mind is the first thing to shut you down
Why do you think that is?
because that's how the mind is wired.
Mm.
It really is. The mind is not wired for stress and change.
That's crazy.
The body is. The spirit is. But the mind will shut it down. And that's why I'm telling you, you can get supercharged and super excited, but 6 weeks from now, where are you going to be? 7 months from now, where are you going to be? 1 year, 3 days from now, where are you going to be? You got to put this shit in place every day. And if you can't do them all, do one, do two. And on days where you can't do it, don't beat yourself up. But damn it, get up the next day and say, I'm doing it. Because if you don't, you're going to continue that path. I promise you. You've got to realize inspiration and motivation do not equal success. Discipline.
Just let that soak in a little bit.
That's it.
Man. I feel like I need to do some writing for sure. Like some fucking, I don't know, just some like planning or some creative like open thinking. 'Cause I feel like just possibilities are running through my head right now. Like there just feels like so many things are possible now.
Man, if you guys didn't get nothing from tonight, just don't come back.
Right.
Just don't come back.
Burn the shirts.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of it.
Oh man. All right.
Dude, so when, can they expect to see some of this, like your next exhibit?
Oh, my exhibit?
you know?
Yeah, I'll be posting little tidbits of marketing information here on out through Facebook and my personal page. You can start to understand the project at yourstoryexhibit.com. You can also get in touch with me and I can provide you information. But expect, now that I'm really in the swing of things, I'll be updating more about it. And I won't be releasing probably the mediums that I'm using because that's really the kind of the grand finale, right? But if you all are interested, definitely keep in touch about, I'll be posting when opening day night is for the exhibit and the exhibit length when it'll run through at the Springfield Museum of Art. And we'll have a GoFundMe, and if anybody wants to help, there will be an itemized budget on that GoFundMe showing where every dollar goes. And know that you're donating for the cause that's far outside of me. It's It's for these kids. It's for the school. It's to shine a light. It's to inspire. It's to motivate. And community has done a hell of a job on the first project. I never imagined we would raise 18 grand in 2 months. But we did. We'll probably be needing about another 16 to 18 grand to put this on because it's pricey when you get into these prints and events and the admin, the marketing, having video done, all of that. But that's all part of the assets you've got to have to continue to build the momentum to spread the word so you can put on these projects. So,
Dude, I don't think there would be a single person that had listened to this and wouldn't love to know more about your project and much more than that, just get to know you better. But yeah, you guys hit it here or heard it here. Your story.
Exhibit.com.
Right. And I'll have that link to in the description below. And maybe, I'm not sure if that GoFundMe will be ready before this.
Yeah, it probably won't. I'm not going to start fundraising yet. You'll probably start to see that in the next month or 2 months. It's funny because I had a Your Story prior Facebook and I had an Instagram, but literally I got deep hacked in Facebook and I lost all my personal and all my business pages.
Damn.
So what I have now is just what I started back up. Okay. So I've lost all those assets.
Well, we'll make sure we get on there and follow and try to share any information.
Yeah. So once I can, I'll continue to bring more to it. But I have to. I want to release all this. I want to share all that, but I just can't. First of all, I really want the kids to see it.
Yeah.
And I want them to be surprised.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I've done the museum justice on bringing a high-end project to them.
Yeah, you're a man with a plan.
So,
we respect that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as soon as we get all that information, we'll be sharing it to our pages and stuff like that. I'll even go back and update this just for future listeners and stuff. So, yeah, Ty Fischer, your exhibit or yourstoryexhibit.com. Check all of his shit out. Man, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just like where I'm at.
Thank you guys, man. That's how I feel. I really appreciate some time on here and just talking.
Yeah.
This is what I enjoy. I enjoy these kind of conversations and connecting.
Man, well, I mean, if it's, I gotta speak on Chris' behalf, I think, and anyone listening to this, that there's a lot of people that would think about it more than that. Some of the things you shared tonight were not just little conversations that are having
highly impactful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know as soon as I get out of here tonight, I'm going to text like 3 people and like, hey, motherfucker, like this shit's coming out like on this date. I'm going to tell you next week. And I'm going to tell you the week it comes out because you need to listen to it. There's a lot of people that could benefit from it and will, but there's like 3 people in particular in my head where I'm like, I'm gonna ask you if you've watched
there will be a test.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's no multiple choice shit either. You ain't guessing on this.
Yeah.
But man, I just can't thank you enough for being on the show.
Yeah, man.
And shit, I mean, we usually do this thing if there was and you've blessed us with enough of them.
Yeah.
But if there's anything that you could just leave to the people,
one final hoorah.
It's quite simple. You're capable.
Mm.
You're simply capable. You are the only person and the only reason you're not.
Love it,
man.
Fucking
Y'all
love it.
You heard it here. He's a very, very successful man. I think in a lot of facets of his life, and I look up to him in a lot of ways. I think more so now than I had before, and that's beautiful.
Well,
I'm very thankful for
that.
As far as the show, fuck the show. Go follow Ty, but you can find all of our plugs below in the description. Morethantattoos.com. Go pick up a shirt. Check out our Patreon. We've got some extra content up there. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, we're gonna start posting some like content that's not just a straight podcast. So stay tuned on that. Hopefully we bring some pretty interesting topics that aren't so long format there, but clearly you get a lot of good shit out of the long format shit.
Yeah.
So appreciate anyone that has stuck with us for fucking, I think this is episode 16, which is super cool.
Congrats.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and just a small also thank you to our listeners. We have almost, I think it's like on YouTube, like almost 400 hours of playtime.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Which is fucking just crazy to me. I don't even know if the calculations are up on audio, but I think we have like almost twice as many plays on just audio platforms than we do video. So that many hours of this being played, like I can't thank you guys enough for even giving us that amount of time. But
It's fucking awesome.
we're going to keep fucking doing our best to get people like Ty on and picking their brain and just getting better, you know, getting more discipline, building that self-awareness. And the fucking fire's been lit. And this shit's going live, so we've got a lot to live up to now. You know, we're going to speak into it. We're going to speak it out loud.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, without further ado, that's been another heater from More Than Tattoos, and y'all have a wonderful fucking week.
Peace.
Take care.